Alright guys, so we're going to navigate home now. This I expect to be a bit more challenging of a route. This is kind of a tough turn sometimes even for me. So I'm going to be cautious. I got one foot on the brake because I really don't want it inching out into traffic. But this is one that it has to go into the middle lane and then merge over. So again, I'm not using assertive mode, so that could be why we haven't jumped into the middle lane yet. Okay, there we go. We're going. All right. Not bad, not bad. I'll do that turn more times as I come to pick up groceries, just to see how it does, because at least that time it seemed like it was waiting for both sides to be clear before going. So I don't know if it had the intention to go into the middle turn, the middle lane before merging into the right lane. So I'm curious to see that in the future. I'm just gonna put the phone over here so that it can charge. So if you're not familiar with Teslas, one of these really cool features that Teslas have is these two spots up here. They're separated by like a little hump so that the phone doesn't slide out. These are wireless chargers, so if your phone supports wireless charging, you just sit your phone on there and it'll charge, and it works great. It's really convenient just to be able to drop your phone there and have it charge whenever you get into the car. I've been really impressed with this version. I know it's not the latest version. There's a 11.14.1, which was one that started to roll out to some of the OG beta testers, and then they kind of reeled it back. I'm gonna bump the speed a little bit just because 40 is the marked speed limit, but nobody's going 40. And I'm not trying to get run off the road by this Ford F-250 behind me. But yeah, this version has been really good. So the new one, it's supposed to have a lot of improvements, and I think people did see a lot of improvements with some of the lane selection and maybe the planning of the lane selections happening sooner. So that is one thing that I noticed on one of my drives, where it didn't really enter the turn lane where the turn lane starts, but it waited maybe 100 feet or so before the turn, which is not a problem unless there was traffic in that lane. If the traffic was backed up, then you would kind of be stuck there. I don't know if the car would just sit there or if it would maybe try to find its way in, or maybe just keep going and turn around. I don't know what it would do in that case, but I do think that having the planning of the lane selections happening sooner is going to just make it a much better driving experience. So here we kind of got lucky that it turned green right as we got here. We're going to have another scenario up here, which this is fine because we want to test and see what the system's capable of. I personally don't take this way because I don't like having to jump across the lanes and merge onto the highway. I prefer to go one street down and there's a light, and then I just turn left and then I'd be coming from that way. I mean, to me it's just less of a headache. I mean, here you kind of have to make your way to the middle and then make your way over, unless it's, you know, you happen to go when it's wide open. But we'll see how it does. I'm gonna have one foot on the brake because this is a new scenario for me. So there is no traffic on the left coming. All right, so it's going, but now it's gonna stay in the middle of the road, so I'm just gonna cut over myself and do it. Yeah, it was gonna go to the middle, but since there's two cars already waiting, I think it was gonna stay waiting until one of those cars moved, and that would have not been good because I would have been blocking the flow of traffic. And this is exactly why I don't, as a human, even like to do this myself. But again, we're trying to see the capabilities of the system. I'm gonna engage it here. I'm gonna have one foot on the brake, ready to go. All right, so there's a car coming. All right, you can go, go, go. All right, so that was not the smoothest, but it did it. It's definitely hesitant, so I'm gonna do some more videos, guys. This is it's in the normal mode right now, so it tends to be a bit timid. I'm gonna try the assertive mode next time and see if we get a better experience, because sometimes I think the system trying to be too safe, it ends up actually being more dangerous, because it's kind of like, oh, should I go? Oh, wait, oh, there's a car coming, oh, let me wait. And you end up just waiting in the middle of the road. Whereas when it's assertive, if it sees an opening, it goes. And you know, that's what a normal good driver would do. You would see an opening and you would go for it. It was good getting on the highway. So on this version is the one that they consider single stack, which means that they've used the same basically the same neural network that runs the city streets driving is now running on the highway as well. And you could see that it did really good. Before, in other versions, there would be a big difference when it was switching from that full self-driving beta over to navigate on autopilot on the highway. So this tends to be a much smoother experience getting on the highway and off the highway. So you can see we just got off with absolutely no issues. I'm actually going to change course a little bit because I want to see how it does. Navigate to Tidwell Park boat ramp. Let's add that as a stop. So FSD Beta is at that point where it's called the March of Nines, which means the system is basically capable of driving 99% of the time, but you know, how many decimal points out is the acceptable threshold to say, all right, this is ready to not need a driver? Because you know, you could see that the majority of the drive, there's absolutely no issue, it's flawless, and there's just, you know, little scenarios here and there which are challenging scenarios, but the system still needs to be capable of doing it. So yeah, right now, I mean, you know, definitely we're 99%, but you know, how many decimal places are we at right now? I think that's what Tesla's currently looking at with all the millions of miles that the cars are driving each day, because Tesla's got millions of cars on the road already. And one thing that people sometimes don't know is that every Tesla comes with the hardware required to do full self-driving. So Tesla is fronting that cost because they know that in the future this is going to be huge. And I'm not going to say everyone, but I would say that most people would be interested in at least using this system some part of the time, whether that be on a road trip because they don't want to have to worry about the long drive, or whether it be on their commutes because they have to encounter a lot of traffic and stressful driving situations, which could really save you a lot of stress by not having to worry about having to do the driving. Or if you're like me, I would say slightly crazy, but we will see, your car can turn into an investment. So this may be the first car that you buy that can actually be considered an investment. And you may be saying, why? Or your college child right now is saying, hey, this guy is telling me that a Tesla's an investment, so you should get me a Tesla for my graduation present. But really, if the car can drive itself, imagine the possibilities that that's going to unlock. So that, you know, there's the small amount of time that you use it for yourself. That might be once, maybe twice a day. But what about using it like an Uber or a Lyft? So this is the concept that people call robo-taxi. You hear Kathy Wood and Ark Invest firm and Tasha Keeney from Ark Invest talk about how their $2,000 price target for Tesla is based off of robo-taxi. So that's why there's so much value that can be unlocked from the vehicle if it can drive itself, because your car will be able to generate money for you. It can go out, pick people up, drop people off. It can even do Uber Eats kind of things where it picks up, you know, somebody puts something in the trunk and then it shows up to someone's house, pops open the trunk, and the person can just pull out, whether that be a food like Uber Eats or DoorDash or Instacart, something along those lines. But Tesla will be able to offer their own product that can generate Tesla owners passive income, because you really don't have to do much. I mean, yes, you have to keep the car clean. Yes, you're gonna have to charge it, at least for now. I'm sure that'll be automated at 1.2. So just imagine when that happens, these cars are going to turn into an investment. Now, I don't know if Tesla's going to raise the price of the car, or if they're going to raise the price of the self-driving, or if they're just going to be fine with just taking a cut off of every transaction. But it's a huge opportunity for Tesla, but also for Tesla investors, of course, and then Tesla car owners. So this is just wild, the possibilities that can be unlocked here. So I just navigated over to the park here. It's really beautiful. I don't know what the car is doing right now. It's actually going the wrong way, so I'm going to disengage. Now, I will remind you guys that the system right now is very primitive when it comes to parking lots, and that's what we just entered into. So that's why you don't see people demoing their full self-driving beta in parking lots much, because it's not a capability that has been focused on for a while. So whatever you're seeing when the vehicle is driving in a parking lot is what's been around for a few years now. I mean, Tesla kind of started working on it. They got it to a point where it's okay sometimes, but not okay a good bit of the time as well. But that is, I believe it's one of the next priorities that they're going to be working on, which is going to be the parking lot and the car parking itself as it pulls into a parking lot, but also the ability for the car to drop you off at the entrance of the grocery store or work or wherever you're trying to go to, and then it go park itself, or it go and drive around as a robotaxi and generate some income for you. So it's a really interesting opportunity that I believe, and other people who have been following Tesla for a while believe as well. Most of the people will say end of this year, next year. Some people see it taking longer, but I think there's a lot of consensus that by 2024 we're gonna see Teslas driving themselves, possibly with no one in the driver's seat, which is going to be a monumental moment. I mean, you're going to hear about it everywhere. It's going to be on the news. Your friends and family are going to be talking about it. So it's a good time right now that Tesla's been dropping their prices to buy a Tesla now. If you want a Model 3 or Model Y, it's a great value. Great value. We have both. They're both uniquely awesome in their own ways. You get more space with the Model Y. You probably get a little bit more value because you're not paying much more, but you get more space, you get more range. It's what most people go for. It's why right now it's the best-selling car in the entire world. That's another thing that a lot of people don't know. And it's funny because you would think that these things would be all over the news, but they're not. I don't know why. I have a pretty good feeling that if Tesla does start advertising, like Elon Musk said at the shareholder meeting, that the media outlets may be a little bit more friendly when they've got revenue coming from Tesla. So be on the lookout for those ads. There's a lot of us in the Tesla community that have thought that it could be a good time for Tesla to do some advertising. I mean, we are kind of in this recessionary time where Tesla's ramping up their factories. There's a lot of cars being produced, and not everyone can afford a Tesla right now. And it's not that it's unaffordable, it's more the fact that not everybody can afford a new car. And you know, I need to make that distinction because sometimes people think that Teslas are these super expensive cars, but they're actually below what the average selling price is for a car in America. And a lot of people also do not know that. Now, if you are trying to get a smaller, more compact car and you don't really need or want a bigger vehicle or like a larger sedan, then you might want to wait. So Tesla should be announcing sometime in the next couple of months their next generation vehicle, which is going to be on a new platform that they've been developing. It's going to be cheaper, so it's really going to be the mass market car that anybody that can afford a new car, like a Toyota Corolla, for example, can afford that car. Not just because the entry price is going to be comparable, but because a Tesla is so cheap to maintain. You don't have to do anything except for your tires, which every single car has, and your cabin air filter, which every single car has, and your windshield washer fluid. But you don't have to do the brakes, but maybe every 100,000+ miles. If you keep the regenerative braking turned on, you're rarely using the brakes. That is a huge, huge savings. I mean, at the minimum, if you go and get your brakes done, you're gonna spend $300 on average, at the minimum. And that's assuming that you, when they need to be replaced. Most people don't know or don't look at the brakes. So they start hearing a scratching sound or a crunching sound, and hey, I gotta get my brakes checked out. And what happens? You gotta get your rotors replaced, you might need to get your calipers replaced, you need to get the pads replaced. They're gonna have to bleed the brake system if they have to open it up, and you're gonna at least spend $1,200 or more. And I say or more because that's for the average vehicle. If you have some fancy sports car, some BMW, Mercedes, you're not gonna get no brake job for $1,200. So just think about the savings that you're getting with a car like this. No oil changes, no transmission fluid changes or flushes, no coolant changes or flushes. It's a much simpler vehicle. So check it out, guys. Check out some of the videos that Tesla has on their YouTube and on their Twitter page. There's a lot of information that they post on those two places. They may start advertising in other places, but right now that's kind of the only place where you can get that information, and it's really good information. They have some amazing videos, but most people just don't get a chance to see them. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'm gonna keep putting out more content. If you have any content ideas, comment in the comment section below, and I'll read through those comments, and I'll try to get through as many of them as I can. But I definitely want you guys to see what it's like to own a Tesla, what it's like to drive a Tesla, what it's like to use a Tesla in full self-driving, how convenient it is, how convenient it is to not to have to use a key, being able to plug in at home. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I'm just going to be sharing that information with you guys. So y'all have a great day. Take care and goodbye.